So hello everyone. Can you hear me, all of you? Yeah, that's okay. Just write something if you don't hear me then. So I'm Pierre I'm a booking agent at Deûle Entertainment. So I'm focusing on a roster which is focused on dark and experimental, mostly acts from pretty much all around the world, from the US, from various places in Europe. I also promote shows in Lille with Cerber Coryphée, Lille and Paris, but mostly in Lille, where I'm based in north of France, which is near the Belgian border. I also play drums for two bands, which are Deûle and Traquenard, but this is not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about booking and to hopefully give you some keys that will help you take your local bands from the local band to a touring band. So we're gonna see, there are many ways to do it, and we're gonna see what are the different ways to make it happen. So from the basement to the road, growing from local band to touring artists. So the first thing, and actually the most important thing, is to make sure your band is ready for this. Because I mean, as a booking agent and also as a show promoter and festival promoter, because I forgot to mention, I also do Rock In Bourlon, which is a festival that happens in June in the countryside of north of France. And so you can imagine I'm getting a lot of emails from bands, various kinds of bands, and many of them didn't ask themselves that question: are we ready for this? And it might sound like a stupid question, but it's probably the most important one, because it's not supposed to be easy. Is the first thing you need to keep in mind. It's not easy. It's actually really hard. So it takes a lot of motivation. Is the first step for sure, but it's not enough, of course. So first of all, you need to make sure that your band as an entity is ready for it and has an identity, right? So to have an identity, you need to have some history. You can't just become a touring band after playing 2 shows in your city, unless you're already into the scene from the previous bands you might have played in. But let's say you're like a new band and you didn't have any big experience before, right? So you need to like create a history for your band. When I say create, it's not like make up, it's really make it happen, right? So you need to have at least some good local show history. When I say good local show history, I mean opening for a bigger band, for example, or maybe playing to some local festivals that like are a bit more known than your local basement, even though local basement are great. But and then you need also a proper release, because you can't promote your band if you don't have a proper release. Okay. So when I say proper release, I don't mean a demo that you would record with your phone. I mean like a proper release. So that this might sound very obvious, and it is in a way, but it's, as I see, not that obvious. So that's why I'm emphasizing on this point. Then another thing is the collective, because your band is a collective of people working together, okay? So it's different individuals working together, each one of them having its problems or things to manage in their life, which might have consequences on the band life, right? So you need to make sure that all your band members are ready to do what it takes. The first thing, which is really important, is make yourself available. If you want to be a touring band, you need to be available. You can't become a touring band if you can tour only a week per year. This is like, it just can't happen, right? You need to have some time that you can invest in touring. And this is also very important, because if you want to tour and you're not available, it's never going to happen. This is for sure. So you need to be, you need to make yourself available, make sure that everyone in your band can handle the professional situation, the family situation, and so on. If not, then you need to figure out something. Okay, if you have like a bass player that can't be there for half of the offers you get, you have a problem. If you wanna keep progressing as a touring band, it's gonna be a problem. Then it's just for you to find the best way to solve it. There's no miracle solution. It's just you as a collective of people that need to have this discussion that will allow it to change, right? So once you have these two steps done, make sure everybody is ready for this. You have a record or even several. First of all, you need to know where you stand, okay? So we're talking now about mostly underground bands, let's say rock and metal bands in general. It doesn't really matter, but you need to know where you stand. I mean, identify your scene. Where, in which kind of places, in which scene are you going to be the most likely to be interesting, right? So also, it might also sound obvious, but it's not. Let's say it depends, because if you are a straight up hardcore band, for example, or any band that you really fit into a genre of rock or metal, whatever, it's going to be kind of easier because, of course, if you play hardcore, you know that you can go to this hardcore crew in every city. There is one almost, and you know that you can get in touch with these people, and you're going to fit, and maybe they're going to have you, you know? So it might be, though, more difficult for the bands that are more weird, like the bands I book, for example, which are often standing in between several genres. So then it gets more tricky, and you need to just like identify where it would make sense. Okay, how do you do that? Well, you just check. You just check what the promoter in the cities you want to target are doing. Okay, and you're gonna see pretty fast if you can fit with this or that organizer, right? So identify your scene and know what are the places that will fit your band, festivals, venues, okay? Then you need to be social. This is super important and very underrated, but actually this is probably almost as much as important as your music is. It might sound sad for some people, and I understand, but it's the way it works. You know, music is a community, and it's also what makes it beautiful. So if you're not social and you just stay with your band in your corner, never go to see other bands, never get in touch with any other bands, well, probably no one's gonna, or a few people are gonna be likely to have your band. It's pretty obvious, right? So it's really one of the most important things here. You need to keep in mind that most of the people involved, even like events promoters you would think are really big ones, are not that as big as you would think. And actually, a lot of them are doing it for passion, and it's not even their job. So it's important. Like, they do it because they enjoy it, they do it for the passion. So of course the human factor, the social factor, is very important, and it's also what makes touring cool, right? Because you meet a lot of people, and every time you play a show, it's an opportunity for your band, but it's also an opportunity like to show your music, I mean, but also an opportunity to meet some people, maybe just to make some friends, but also gather some contacts that will be useful for the future. Okay, any band contact, new band contact, or organizer, whatever is interesting. Even band, because you can also get to tour through bands, through other bands. This is also a very common way for a band that wants to go out of the local scene and go see in other places, it's a very good way also to do it through other bands. If you meet a band on a show and it matches like the band's music fits, and you can do a tour together, well, that's might be a good opportunity for your band to get it started, you know. So yeah, be nice, take interest in what others are doing, go see shows. Your network of connection with people involved in the scene will make it the best experience, because you will make friends, plus you will get much more shows opportunity. And if you're cool, plus your band is cool, then you win for sure. If you're nice and you play cool music, well, it should be fine for you, right? So in this first step of taking your band on the road, like, you need to remember these letters. Again, everything I say might sound obvious, but really, I see so many messages I get that prove me the opposite. So that's why I'm taking time to tell all these things that might sound obvious. The importance of DIY. Why? Because when you start as a band, you need to do everything by yourself, right? It's very unlikely that someone is going to come to you after your first EP and tell you, oh, wow, your band is unbelievable and I want to work with you. It can happen, of course. And if it happens for your band, then that's really good. I'm super happy for you. But most of the time, it doesn't happen, right? And you need to basically deal with this shit on your own. So it's fine, though, because you're going to learn a lot of stuff. But keep in mind that you need to move your ass, basically. And it's not because you will rehearse and create the best songs that it's going to be enough. Again, it might sound sad and very discouraging for some people, and I understand, but it's really as it is. Like, if you don't do anything, your band is not going to go anywhere. So you need to... You don't... Sorry, I'm losing myself, but yeah, what I want to say is that you don't need, especially like some... I as an agent, as a booking agent, I receive so many emails from bands that want to work with a booking agent and are like, seem to think that it's the only way to make it. Of course, it's a very... You need some at some point, but before getting to that point where you actually need one, there are a lot of stuff you can do by yourself. And doing all these stuff is going to help you getting interest from a booking agency afterwards, okay? So if you start booking your tour by yourself, because like, let's say you try to get in touch with some booking agents and no one is interested, which is like actually the reality for many bands, you need to do it yourself if you want to keep doing it, right? So it's by doing it and by touring and by doing things that you're going to be on the map, actually. This is definitely very important to have in mind, because if you wait for a booking agent to find you, you might wait for really long. So all you need to invest, and it's again the same, right, when you play in a band, is two things: time and energy. It's very taking, it's very exhausting, but it's the only way to make it, right? So if you don't have an agent, you can still go around and do stuff, okay? You just check who is doing shows in the cities you're targeting. You just take it step by step. You won't start with a 4 or 5 weeks tour, right? It doesn't make sense. And you won't even find like 30 or 40 shows, right? Also, you need to keep in mind that your band might not be ready for it, because playing the same show for 30 days in a row is also something that's very exhausting, and you need to get experience in touring before you can get to this point. So the best way is start local again, of course. If you're a local band, you never played out of your city, you're not going to go on the other side of Europe unless someone is inviting you, of course. But yeah, you just see what you can do in a radius around your city. I don't know, it can be 400, 500 kilometers. It also depends where your band is from, okay? I'm from the north of France, for example, so we can go to the UK, to Netherlands, to Germany, or to France, of course, very easily. It might not be the same if you are from Poland, for example, but still you're gonna have a lot of opportunities because you have Germany, Czech Republic, or Poland, for example, and like each band will have like its own situation. So please first like check what makes sense. Okay, what are the big cities around? Which of these big cities has a scene that will match what your band is doing? Okay, if you're like a black metal band and you know that, okay, this city, which is like 300 kilometers, has a good black metal scene, one of the best around, then that's probably where you should start. Okay, then so through social media you can already get a lot of info. Okay, you just check the bands, you check where they're playing in other cities, who is doing the shows. This is like Facebook can give you all these answers. Again, everything it takes is time and energy. And then once you gather this contact, you can start emailing everyone, and you're gonna see after. Also, yeah, don't expect to have a reply like the first time you send a message. It's not as easy. Probably you're gonna have to write 4, 5, or 6 times before you get a first reply, or sometimes you're gonna have to dig through internet to find another way to contact these people you want to connect with. And again, it takes a lot of time. Then, so internet is one way to make it, but it's not the only one, fortunately. You can also, of course, ask your local touring bands. Because I'm sure if your band is from a city, this city has also local bands that went through this step I'm talking about right now, and made it on the road and already played in a bunch of places, and they can help you. Of course, you should ask them, where did you play? Oh, I saw you play in that city. Who was the organizer? That's, again, coming back to one of the points I was talking about earlier, which is being social. It's also part of this. Again, it always goes together. If like music, I mean, live music actually is what we're talking about, and social is, yeah, it goes together, and it's the only way it can work, really. Another way to do it is through bands. So not local bands from your city, but you can also check with the bands of the cities you want to play in. Okay, you're from, I don't know, you're from Warsaw, you want to play in Krakow, you don't know anyone there, but you can, probably some bands, at least from the name or that you listen to, that are from there. So ask them. If you have, oh, that band plays the same kind of music, of course, ask them. Maybe they can set up the show for you. Maybe they can play with you, or maybe they can just point you towards the local organizer that could be interested in doing a show for you. So again, it's all about digging and asking questions. And also, yeah, you need to get in touch with people. Also, don't be afraid to ask. It's fine. You're a band, you want to play just like any other band. So go straight to the point. I mean, don't be like an asshole, like, hey, I want to let's play or whatever, but just don't beat around the bush for hours. Like, just ask what you want to get. Because if you don't ask, you don't get. It's fine. Everything is about the way you're gonna ask for it. If you ask for it in a nice way, you're just gonna get a yes or no, but maybe a yes. If you don't ask, you can't get a yes, right? So now that you went through all these steps, once you know your band is ready to make it as a team, once you know where you stand, okay, which scene you belong to, and you start to see what are the places around that you could really target, like, seriously, then is doing it. So doing it how? So there are many ways to do it, right? It can be long, it can be not long, it can. Then there are a lot of logistical questions also. Probably won't talk about specifically now, but we can discuss that later if you have questions about all the logistical stuff, because I didn't emphasize on this, but there are probably also some interesting questions about it. So doing it, how long? Okay. The first thing is, as I was saying earlier, if you don't have any touring experience, keep it short for two reasons. First of all, health reason. Health might be a strong word, but let's say you're a band, like if you're a local band that just have local shows experience, you have no idea what touring is like. When you tour, you don't sleep enough, you get easily sick because you're always in and out the van. So if you tour in the fall, you get cold after 3 days. Everyone that's been on tour is going to tell you that. So your body gets weak. So you need to keep in mind that, okay, your body is gonna be weaker because you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be maybe a bit sick, you're not gonna be in your home comfort, so you're like still, you're not in your like normal situation. So you need to make sure that your band is ready to take it and to perform every night, because if you go on tour, you need the show to be as good every night. Okay, so if you don't have any touring experience, keep it short for this reason. And another one is the financial reason, because of course, if you go on tour, you're gonna rent a van, probably, and you're gonna at least spend money for gas, maybe to buy a hotel if you can't get accommodation at the show. So this all costs money. And if you go on tour for like 3 weeks, let's say, as a local band, you're gonna have a lot of free days off. And these days are going to be days where you're going to spend money and nothing is going to get in. So you might come home with a big minus, and this can destroy your band, believe me. So yeah, health and money. It's actually two very good reasons to keep it short. So if you want to do like something you can actually call a tour, because of course, if you go for 3 days, you can't really call that a tour, or it's more like a weekend tour maybe, but not like a tour, right? So the thing I would advise, and I advise bands that I work with that don't have this touring experience as much, would be to do 10 days, which is 1 week with 2 weekends around. You will see that if you never tour, if you achieve to play these 10 shows in a row with all the drives and everything else that a tour implies, then yeah, you're gonna be tired. You'll see. So, and about the money thing, of course, it's cool to invest money on your band, but to make it grow, but you need to be careful in investing it in a smart way, which is why when planning your first tour, you need to be careful with this, because these are things like a first tour for a band is like a test also. Can you stand each other in the same van for like a whole week? You don't know until you did it, So this is really a good test for that. And also the money thing is also important, because if you come home and you wasted a lot of money because of bad decisions, it might also destroy your band. So this is really something you need to take seriously, because it might really step up your band if you do it right, but also it might just bury your band if you do it wrong, because again, it's money is involved, human relationships, sometimes even friendships, because your band can be with friends that you know for a long time. It can also be with people you just met through the band. So each band is different. So really, before you go on the road, don't underestimate this aspect, really, because it's as I said, it can either step up your band and be like the real start you needed for your band, give everyone a lot of motivation to keep doing it, and it can be really like a very important point in your band history, but it can also be the end of your band. So this is really something that you shouldn't take lightly, I would say. Okay. Now I'm already reaching the end. Actually, the last thing I want to talk about is the booking agent thing. Okay, so that's my job, right? So now I just gave you some keys to help you work with your band on your own, right? Like the DIY way. Of course, let's after you did this first tour, maybe you did another one, maybe you did like 2 3 tours, and you release a new record, and now you feel like you would need to move to something else. You would need to play maybe more often, maybe in other countries that are a bit further away. For example, if you're in Poland, okay, you can play in Poland, maybe you can play in the Baltics, Czech Republic, Germany, Slovakia. This is all going to be not too hard if you look into it right, okay? But yeah, if you start to want to go to the UK, if you want to go to France, to, I don't know, Spain, whatever makes sense for the music you play, right? It might be more difficult, of course, because you're not going to have these, you're going to have less local connections that can help you through it, and everything. And also, if you just want to play bigger events, because now you played all these small venues, and you want to move up and play bigger venues, maybe with bigger bands, because you feel like there is a reason, you feel like you have enough following, you can see your numbers on on social medias and on streaming platforms going up. So if you see all this, then you have all the good reasons to think, okay, maybe we should work with someone like a booking agent. So how do you find one? Well, there is no clear answer, because it's actually pretty random. You can of course contact some of them that you would know. Okay, you know this agency, you know that you like the roster, you like the band they work with. You can write them, of course. Unfortunately, I don't want to discourage you, but most of the time you will not be getting any reply. Why? Not because your band sucks. Maybe because your band sucks, but probably not. It's just that all these people working in booking business are super busy, and just apart from being busy, which is pretty abstract, they just get so many emails from so many bands. Honestly, I don't even open them anymore most of the time, because it's just too much. But again, something you can still do it. I mean, it can still work. So please still do it. But something that will be more efficient is, again, getting back to the social part of this of the music. It's like, go through the people you played with so many bands already. If you did this 1 2 3 tours, you played with quite a lot of bands. Probably you played with bands that have booking agents, so maybe they can help you. Maybe they can tip you to their booking agent or to other booking agent they know. Or if you play the festival, for example, uh, like a festival in your area, maybe they can also help you. I don't know, any person that's active in the scene. Again, it's kind of the same way of thinking that I was explaining in the beginning. When you won't just want to start to play as a band by yourself, the social part is very important. So it's the same with a booking agent, because a booking agent is a person, right? It's not just an email. So the human part of it is really important, actually, because like for a booking agent, there are going to be several factors that are going to make you interesting. The music you play, of course. Like personally, I can't really work with a band that I dislike the music. I need to like it and believe in it. But also the people, because if the music is amazing but I don't match with the people, it's gonna be hard to make it work in the long term. So yeah, just keep this in mind. It's not only about getting shows and work with someone through emails. You also need to get along a little bit. I think at least for me, it's the way it works. And yeah, I think I'm pretty much done now. So if you have any questions or if you want to interact, please do. Nah, no questions. Doesn't have to be a question. If you just need some clarification on something I said, or if some of whatever, if you want to talk, you can talk to me. Okay, so then thanks for having me on board to this workshop. It's been cool to prepare something here and talk about it, which is actually what I do pretty much every day. So yeah, that was nice. Thank you. And if anyone has questions later, you can, I guess you can get it through the Soulstone Gathering team, and I'll be happy to reply to you. So yeah, feel free. And yeah, have a nice evening, everyone. Dziękuję and goodbye.